Alright, it's the second episode of Text Breakdown, and this time you're in for a treat because we have a really long interaction, a lot of screenshots, and we'll break down every single step in detail. So let's jump right into it. Let's kick this one off with a little bit of background. So this guy met a girl 6 months ago at a picnic, and he says that it was not the right situation for flirting. So what he kind of tried to do was demonstrate high value and keeping the fun vibes going, but he did feel that she was really into him when they were saying goodbye. So she got her Facebook and he wrote her on Messenger the next day. She also said that she's leaving his city in a week's time, but she should be back in December. So now it's December and she's back. She seems to be interested in meeting up, but he just wants to make sure that he sets the meeting up right. So first of all, every situation is a situation where you can do pickup. You just have to calibrate. So if it's like a social event where there are a lot of friends, you wouldn't try and do like direct game, especially if you have the opportunity to spend some time with the person, to chat with them, to get to know them for like an hour or so. You can do indirect game. This will make for a much solid close later on. And you can also close it more informally. It doesn't have to be like, can I get your number? You can go for an Instagram or for a Facebook, more because you want to keep in touch, because you met them and they're like cool people, and not put so much pressure on them. All right, but now let's take a look at his texts. So he started up with opening with hola, which is Spanish for hi. Not a great opener because it doesn't do an emotional callback. If you don't know what that is, check out my previous video. But he still gets a pretty good response. She says, hola, could you send me the name of that place in Costa Rica? That would be great. He sends her the name, it's called whatever, and he also sends a link to a CNN documentary about that place, which is okay. She says thank you and I will look into it. So it's a pretty standard information exchange. I'm not seeing any emotional spikes. So it's not a really great opening, but it kicks off fine because she's replying, so he's still in the game. Thank you, I will look into it. And then he says, and I will research about pheromones. Okay, again, information exchange, nothing special there. And then a couple of days later, he sends her the picture from a beach saying, you should come. I'm guessing this was when she was still in town, which is a problem by itself because usually when people come to a city as a tourist, they already have their own plans. So you have to screen for their plans first, because they're most likely not to adopt their plans just because they met you. You cannot count on that. It's much better to screen first and then try to figure out what they want to do in the town. Do they want to see the beach? Do they want to see the mountains? Do they want to try out some good food? And then kind of try to steer them into meeting you at their place of interest. So what she replied was, thanks for sending. I tried to convince my friends, but it seems like we're going to stick to our original plan and stay in town this Sábado, which means Saturday. I would have loved to go though. Tell me how you liked it afterwards, will you? With a little kiss emoji. So yeah, what's happening here? They didn't want to adopt their plans. He didn't screen for their plans, so he couldn't like insert himself into their plans and kind of try to make himself like a tourist guide or set the meet in some sort of way that it would work. And he replied pretty fast, I think. So she messaged this to him at midnight. No worries, I will let you know. Let me know how your WE goes as well, weekend, and enjoy. Okay, perfect. And he gets a smiley emoji after that. So what then happened? He messaged her immediately after the day was over at 8 p.m. It was so much fun, lots of sports, fun and people. Ella from the picnic also came. You should come next time. Again, pushing for the meet next time. No need, you should just convey that it was like really fun event. And she should feel the need to join you on that event the next time. Then he asks, how was your day? Which is like a kind of boring question. Maybe he should just leave it at that, just telling what happened, and that's it. She said, oh cool, yeah, we also ended up on the beach, but in Badalona. The whole day in Spanish only, such a great exercise. The sun yesterday, it was a perfect day. Sí, con placer, entonces hasta la próxima. That means with pleasure and next time. So again, she puts the meet in the distant future, which is not good because girls will do that a lot of times. When you try to meet up with her or with them, they will say, not today, but next time definitely. And then that keeps repeating itself, and the more you invite them to meet, the more value you lose and the less chance of actually meeting them you will have. So we have to screen for their availability and their willingness to meet and what they actually want to do. It looks like he didn't reply after that, and then a couple of days later, what cool things are you doing this weekend? To which he doesn't get a reply because he assumes that she's doing cool things, and it's a really boring question. It doesn't do an emotional spike again, and it's just like pretty boring one. And 2 days later, I'm guessing before the weekend started, he messaged her again. Someone and I might go for the St. John celebration at the beach, wanna come? And again, the problem is he didn't screen for what she's doing that weekend, so we don't know if she's busy, if she's not busy. Just asking her to join you if you don't have a lot of value will not work. And she replied, hey, sorry, I was in France over the weekend to visit some friends and my internet was slowed down. I hope you had fun at the St. John party. Man, why did I have to choose exactly this weekend to go to France? Smiley. I saw your video interviewing drunk people. It's great. Your teeth are perfect. Bling bling. All right. Nothing special with this response, but she's giving him like just this a little bit of hope to cling on. Why did I have to go to France this week? Yeah, whatever. All right, then what he replied was, and also what I see here is he replies pretty fast. So she needed like 4 days to reply, and then he replied to this message within 2 hours, less than 2 hours. And he said, haha, I guess it's smart to spend money on teeth whitening crests. Not exactly a DHV because it suggests that you had bad teeth before. I wouldn't do that. I would just kind of smile it off and that's it. St. Jordi was crazy. I was telling friends I have never seen anything like this. 60,000 people on the beach. How was France? I would try to keep the interaction and keep the conversation more focused on me, on the party that we had on St. Jordi, because that means that I'm choosing the best events. I'm choosing great events to go to. I'm having fun there, maybe posting some picture on the Instagram. I wouldn't send her pictures directly, but I would post them on Instagram if I'm sure that she will see them. Or I would post it on the story and I would try to make it sure that she sees the stories. It comes off less of a bragging, but it has the same effect overall, so that's much better thing to do. But what he did here was he went straight into asking her how was France, and again putting the focus on her. The problem with this is that girls love to talk about themselves, but that doesn't increase their engagement and their interest in you. They do not get entangled in your life, they don't learn more about your life, so that's not the best thing to do. You still need to ask them questions, keep the vibe that you're interested in their life, but also give them value from your life, right? And then she replied, wow, I can't imagine, it was great, it was really touching to see them so happy to see me again, and vice versa, of course. Then he replied, oh, are they your friends from Germany, and did you all do anything fun together? So now you can see that he's kind of grabbing the straws to keep the conversation going, which is always a bad idea. Once you start asking the generic question, the traction will go down, the fire will go out, and it makes it seem like you don't have anything smarter to do than to just message with the girl you just met and just talk about random stuff. It's good to talk about random funny stuff, about random interesting stuff, but just asking some pointless, boring conversations, it doesn't work through the texts. Then she replied, let's see, when was that? Looks like she replied a couple of days later again. So again, she's losing interest, but she still keeps replying, so that's still good. He still has this connection with her, he's still talking with her. And she said, yeah, we were on the beach playing badminton, eating out, it was great. I'm back in Germany since yesterday now. It was really a pleasure to be able to meet you. Next time when I come to Barca, we'll speak in Spanish only. I wish you all the best. Un saludo de Alemania. So what we see that happened here is she kind of cut off the text interaction. She's kind of suggesting to him, stop talking to me because this is not leading anywhere. It's wasting my time and we cannot meet because I'm in Germany now, you're in Barcelona, and please do not talk with me anymore. Let's just see if she replied to any of his questions. Did you do anything fun together? She did. But she didn't reply to the question, are they your friends from Germany? which is kind of an alert, because if a girl is interested in you, she will listen to what you have to say, she will listen to your texts, and she will reply to everything that you ask her and that you tell her, right? So yeah, we can see that here the interaction is dying out. She's trying to close the interaction. So the best thing to do is to leave it on a high note, make some DHV spike, like say, okay, great, I'm going to the gym anyway, or something like that, and then just cut it off. But what he did here was he texted her, you should be happy to be back in Germany, which is a weird thing to text, because if you're in Barcelona, it's better to be in Barcelona because she would be able to be with you. That should be your mindset. And then he asks, missing Barcelona. This is another question when you can see that he's clearly looking for ways to keep this conversation going. Not a good thing. And then he says, yes, it was lovely to meet you too, and we will have the Spanish conversation later. So this text could be just rearranged. He could just say, yes, it was lovely to meet you too, and we will have the conversation when you're back in Barcelona. Cut it off there. All right, I would do that, and then maybe re-engage later on. Especially if you have her Instagram, you can really casually comment on her story or comment on her posts, or send her the post through DM and make a comment about that, and then get the conversation going on a certain topic, rather than just randomly trying to keep the conversation going by asking questions like missing Barcelona or what are you doing in Germany and stuff like that. All right? Okay, so it looks like he didn't have Instagram because he asked her, by the way, do you have Instagram? What's not good here is we are now on a low energy text exchange. She tried to cut it off, he replied, and then a couple of hours later, so like 10 hours later, he kind of remembered that he doesn't have her Instagram, and then he asks her, by the way, do you have Instagram? She replied 2 days later, I don't have Instagram yet. And then what he did is, instead of trying to raise his value, he diminishes himself. He makes like a demonstration of a lower value that he's using the Instagram by saying, I like how you're not a social media addict like me, respect. This is not a really good thing, because everything you do as a man, everything you do in your life should be good, or you should be fixing it. So if you think that it's not good to be a social media addict, then don't use Instagram. But don't use Instagram, don't ask them for Instagram, and then say, I like it how you're not like a social media addict. All right? And then we see no interaction for 21 days. And then he just randomly asks her, was geht ab? Which is in Germany. In German, she replies en Alemán. And then he says yes. Again, it's the same problem. No emotional callback. It's just like saying hello or how are you? And it doesn't give her anything to start the conversation. It would be much better to get her Instagram. I doubt that she doesn't have Instagram in reality, and to comment on her Instagram story. So that's why I love going for Instagrams, because you can re-engage much easier, and it looks much less try hard. All right? And then again, we're into this text exchange, pointless conversation. Haha, how are you? And then she says, fine, I have my next exam on Thursday. And how are you? Is it hot in Barcelona? Then he says, really? But I like to spend time by the water, pool and beach, so it's fine. Oh, beach, you make me dream. So what she's doing here, it's kind of interesting, because she's still replying a lot to his questions. I wouldn't expect that. But it could also be that she doesn't have a lot of attention on social media. She might not be like a social butterfly. So she likes having someone to talk to and to ask her questions and to have like text exchange for some time, until she kind of wants to cut it off again. All right? And then he replied, I know, not too bad where you are, I hope. What exam do you have on Thursday? Then she says, chemistry. It's the last exam of her bachelor's. And you do have exams at the moment. Is someone still in Barcelona? Then he said, I graduated. We meet up once in a while. Oh, great. We don't have exams in design, anyhow, just projects and presentations. So now we're back to this information exchange, not an emotional conversation, just something that like acquaintances would do, or something that you would do with an old friend, but not in a good way. It's just like a boring update. Then she said, I studied the wrong thing. And here he could pick up on this and make some jokes about it, but he didn't see the opportunity, he didn't see the hook that she gave him, and he said, all the best with your chemistry exam, and then he asks why you don't like it. So he clearly did not connect her last text with the whole interaction they had. You have to be able to listen to her, you have to be able to read her text and to make comments about it and to kind of implement it in the text interaction. Then she says, no, I mean, yes, I like it, but after my bachelor I would like to do something more creative. Okay, she still replied positively. She didn't say like, just, no, I mean, I should have studied this because you don't have exams, because this is what I'm thinking that she was thinking at the time. And then they just kind of continue. I figured, oh, like dance, or something creative with biochemistry, like cloning an extinct plant, I don't know. So this is a good one. He made like a little banter, made some kind of a joke. And then she replied, dancing, well, I'd probably be homeless really soon then. Yeah, something creative within biochemistry. Great, so are you going to stay in Barca? And then he replied, yes. She's like, yeah, maybe. And then again, he's kind of trying to keep the conversation going by saying, I absolutely love this city. And that's just it. She replied, oh, great. Here, what he could have done is told her like a story that happened recently, or give her a specific example of why he loves this city. Not just saying, oh my God, I love this city. You could say, oh my God, I love this city. I was just at this place last time and they have great burgers and they made these specific French fries. It tastes like garlic or something like that. Much, much better, much more emotional spiking, and it would make her kind of want to go back to Barcelona much more than just saying, I absolutely love the city. Especially because he doesn't have that much value with her in her eyes at the moment. Then he's asking, when are you coming back? The city misses you. Again, giving her too much value. I might be able to come back end of October this year, but until now, todo está en el aire. So everything is in the air. We'll see. Thanks for updating me. Okay. And with this message, thanks for updating me, we now see that she kind of tries to cut down the interaction again. She tries to break it off because it's getting boring for her, there are no emotions involved. The best thing here to do is just to cut interaction. He replies, está bien, tienes que contactar la sitio en Costa Rica también, si quieres. Okay, I have no idea what that means, my Spanish is not that great. And then she says yes, I'm guessing she understood that. And then he says, you too for updating me. Anyway, I'm not holding you up for too long. All the best for the exam. You're gonna do great. Okay, so this is really good because he cut off the interaction. I think he kind of sensed that it's not going anywhere. But this sentence, anyway, I'm not hold you up for too long. It could be rewritten in a better way so that he would put in like a little DHV. So for example, anyways, I have to run to the gym, or anyway, I have to do this thing, anyway, I have to work on my business, anyway, I have to send out a couple of emails for this project or something like that, and leave it on a high value note, right? Rather than just assuming that you're stealing away her time. And then she replies, thanks, I'll be back to studying now. No, you didn't hold me up for too long. Now I'm smiling and can concentrate again. Hasta pronto. And now again, what she's doing, she's giving him little hooks to keep him engaged, to keep him coming back, which is something that would happen when you're in a friendship zone. You would get like a little bit of positive emotions, positive reinforcements, just enough to keep you coming back. All right? And then he replies, hasta pronto. And then let's see how much later that was. So they talked on 24th of July. And then the next message is on 29th of July. I would keep more time in between these texts, especially because you don't know when she's coming back. She hasn't confirmed anything. So it's good to have like maybe some sort of interaction every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, not more than that, especially not twice per week. So he messaged her a couple of days later with an inside joke, I guess, sending her a picture of a girl on a beer. Look, I found a beer bottle with your picture on it. And then again, she replied a couple of days later, very funny, how much whitening crest would I have to buy until I have such white bling bling teeth? Well, yeah, lucky they went rather well. And then he replied, again, not leaving too much time in between the answer, like 2 hours. I would leave it at least 1 day because she messaged a couple of days later. And then he replied, none, bling bling or not, I wouldn't notice your teeth in relation to your hypnotizing blue eyes. They looked like someone's blue dress on the picnic day lol. Again, giving her too much value, too much compliments. You have to raise your value first. You're just kind of pushing yourself into a friendship zone with this, especially through the texts. Glad your exams went well. What are you doing nowadays? Again, we're back into this boring interaction. She didn't reply for the whole day, but replied the next day. Oh, you have a beautiful new profile picture. Great smile. Gracias, eres muy lindo conmigo. You have a good memory. Well, now I'm preparing my bachelor's thesis where I have to cure worms from Alzheimer's, but I have more time now, so I'm enjoying life right now. It's so hot here, everyone goes swimming at lunch break. I can't even imagine how hot it must be in Spain right now. So, what are you up to nowadays? Okay, like a nice little update. It's a good thing that he replied a day later saying, thank you, I'm extending my student visa now. It's such a headache, my goodness. If the paperwork weren't so complicated, I would have been traveling Europe right now, Germany included. When are you starting your Instagram account? Post some pictures and make me jealous. Okay, this is kind of good. He makes an emotional callback to the Instagram account, to starting her Instagram. So they already have something going on that he can direct the conversation towards. So it's not just like a boring update, but it's actually something that they talked about before, which is really, really good because that's something that you would do with an old friend, right? But not just like a boring information exchange. You would talk about your dreams, about your hopes, about your ambitions, and starting an Instagram profile, however weird that might sound, is one of those things. And then we get nothing for 4 days. So again, her interest is not spiked. She's not eager to text with him, but she replies, I feel you, bureaucracy sucks, paperwork sucks. It literally sucks all the energy right out of you, but at least I hope you can recharge your batteries on the beach of Barcelona. And there again, in this loop of talking about beach and how great Barcelona is, but nothing specific. If I would get an Instagram account, I would be completely addicted to it, looking at all the beautiful pictures. I wouldn't be able to compete with you anyways, you're Instagram guru. It would be unfair as well, a designer up against a molecular biotechnologist. Well, kind regards from hot ever hotter Germany. Okay, here then with his answer, he misses the opportunity of giving her shit about her being a bad Instagrammer, but that she should try it anyways, because you can implement some sort of like supporting her with her ambitions and what she's doing, plus giving her a little bit of negative emotions by giving her shit about not knowing how to do Instagram. So he could have done that there. But he replied, I'm surprised a German girl can relate to an Indian person's bureaucracy problems. I understand that Instagram could get addictive. I trust your self-awareness. Again, putting her value too high instead of offering her an advice or giving her shit. Then he replied, yes, the beach and friends helped me a lot to distress. And he sends her a picture. And then she says, I don't remember taking a picture, but thanks for sending it to me. Maybe I'll get an Instagram after all. Oh my God, looks simply stunning. And then he teases her a little bit with, that's my photography skills line, which is good because it's like a playful line. And then right after that, instead of keeping that frame, he backs off by saying, just kidding, haha. And then reverting back to her frame, yes, get the Instagram, you won't get distracted. And then she says, that's very humble of you. And then he replies, just inspiring you with my awesome photography skills. Again, you can literally feel the conversation dying out. And of course, what happens, she doesn't reply to that. Then a couple of days later, he sees a picture of a blonde girl on a beer again, and he sends her that picture, which is good, but now we're kind of seeing the repetitive pattern of how to engage with her, how to try keeping the texting going and re-engaging the texting. But again, she replies with a lot of enthusiasm, with a really long text, asking him, where do you get all that German beer from? And guess what? You will be able to spot me again, but this time in real life. Today I got a call from a biotech company in Barcelona. They want me for an internship. It's a dream. So from the midst of December to the 20th of April, I'll be in Barça a bit more than 4 months. So now she told him that she's coming to Barcelona. And at this point, I would just cut the interaction off until she gets to your country. Because there is no point in texting now anymore. Maybe just like a random text or something like that. It would be much better to reply to her stories on Instagram, but she doesn't have the Instagram. So yeah, I would keep the texting on minimum, maybe send her one text in between August and the time she gets to the Barcelona, so in December, just to remind her of you, and that's it. He replies with, yay, congrats, hi, I was at this bar with some friends today, I will take you there when you are here. Again, showing a really, really huge investment on his side, when you get here, we will do these awesome things together. I would just say, that's awesome that you're coming here, looking forward to it, and just leave it at that. I wouldn't try and make plans before that happens. And we can see what happened is this smiley is like, I don't know, it gives off a weird vibe from her side. And I'm guessing it's to show that she's not too enthusiastic about his enthusiasm. I just saw pictures of you and someone and a group of other people. Looks like fun, you guys. Then he says, haha, that was at her farewell party. So that's one of their friends that was leaving, I guess. He sends her the picture. I had a lot more fun during this trip. The other is my best friend in Barcelona. So she said that it looks like they were having a good time once again. So now that's really getting boring, because she tries to reply to his replies but doesn't find anything to hook onto. And then she asks him, your best friend, do you know him from your university? I'm secretly hoping that we'll find a way to return as well. Then he said, yes, me too. Okay, now what do we have here? We have pretty boring conversation, nothing too much going on here. And then again, what happened here? She cut off the interaction. Well, then see you this winter. Good night. Oh God, bromance, I hate that word, good night. So what we're seeing here is that every time he starts the conversation, she cuts it off. So you need to be able to pick up the clues on when the texting is dying out and cut it off before she does. Because if she cuts off the interaction, it will have the vibe that the whole interaction, the whole texting was boring. But if you cut it off, you can always leave her wanting more. Even if you already feel the vibe that she's not into that texting, into that specific conversation anymore. You can just cut it off and retain your value. Or even spike her emotions, or even put in some DHV spikes, and yeah, that's it. Then what happened? He messaged her again with the same boring questions. How are you? What have you been up to lately? I don't think there's any point in getting the update from her at this point, because she's coming to his city. He should just wait and then try to meet up for an actual date, take things from there. Then she says, thank you for your message. I'm in the middle of my thesis, really enjoying it. Something in Spanish, that she doesn't have the energy. When come home, I just collapse on the couch or to bed and sleep. Luckily in my lab we have a great team, so we can keep motivating ourselves with dance breaks in the lab and so on. I'm really grateful for that atmosphere. We have people from all these different countries, and she's the only German in the lab. Okay? Then she asks him, how are you doing? Is still good weather in Barcelona? And that she hopes so, blah blah. By the way, I just watched your Insta story. Who is this gorgeous child? It looks like a Botticelli angel. Okay, so now it looks like they exchanged their Instagram contacts. So what we know here for a fact now is that she's watching his Instagram stories. So at this specific point now, there is no more point in texting. You should just move the texting, move the conversation to Instagram, especially if she's watching his stories, and if she doesn't have like thousands of people who she follows, then just move it to Instagram, because it will be much better, much more natural to re-engage through the stories that she will post, and you will give her an ability to comment on your stories. Sounds like you have a great team and lab atmosphere. I can imagine the intensity. What's your thesis about? He's a young Botticelli painting indeed. I met his dad on my first day in Barcelona, beautiful family. Then we have a long update about the visa resolution, and that he's doing great, that the summer was a blast, what he's wearing, and that his internship is finishing, so he will start working on his freelance projects. Okay, this one is a good one because it's a DHV, so freelance projects means you have more freedom, means you have more ability to spend your time as you want, and that he's doing a second master's program as well, not too serious, just to extend his stay in Barcelona to 3 years before applying for a work visa. Okay, that's a nice little update with much more DHV spikes than before, so this was actually a good update. And what happened then, it looks like she didn't reply to that, and then she wrote to him on his birthday saying that she was 2 hours too late, but anyways, feliz cumpleaños. And then you have a really positive reaction about the freelancing projects, about the YouTubers, and that she looked him up. Is his name almost epic? If yes, then he has a nice smile like you. Okay, so we have again a little indicator of interest, but it could also be like a hook to keep him going. All right, and then she tells him about the worms in the lab that have Alzheimer, and she's trying to cure them. I think she already mentioned that in one of her previous messages. This is actually a demonstration of lower value, because he didn't remember that. And especially if you have it in text form, then it's no reason to not remember those kind of informations, but she doesn't look too affected by it. Well, great about your masters in Barca and your individual projects. Yeah, this summer was amazing. Just when you started to wear denim and long sleeves, I started to wear scarves, headbands and gloves. Muchos saludos desde Heidelberg. Okay, then he replies, thank you. Almost Epic is his second channel. Okay, then again, we are on the projects. Poor Worms, it looks like a very serious project to me. Again, giving a lot of value to her projects, but it's not the best thing to talk about. It's your thesis, you're already working on it. It's kind of boring, you know, you have to do it, and maybe she doesn't even want to do it. So I would try to steer the conversation towards something more interesting. Hope you're making steady progress. Again, I think emotionally here. Hearing you mention Heidelberg brought back memories of the castle. I was there 12 years ago. Thanks again. Okay, this was actually a really good one because he gave her a hook there. So he was at this castle 12 years ago. And then we can see if she picks up on it or if she just ignores it. If she picks up on it, then it means she wants to know more about him. She wants to get more invested in their interaction. So what she did next is not ideal. She just sent 3 emojis. Very, very low investment text, and that's it. Then the interaction dies off. So now here we know, because of this, that she's not as invested as him, and that the texting is only hurting him. All right, and then what was good that he did? He didn't message her from October to December. So in December, she was meant to come to his city. And then again, instead of doing some emotional callback or sending her a picture of a beer, that would actually be a good one here, even though it would be the 3rd time he did it. But still, it's something that they had like an internal joke. He just went, hey, how did your thesis go? Again, a really boring conversation. But she again replies really positively. What a pleasure to read your message, especially because your sentence refers to my thesis in past tense, but it's still not finished yet, even though I'm already in Spain. Okay, so she's now in Spain, but she didn't reach out, which also gives us like an indication that she's not too invested in getting together again. I'm still writing it. Okay, then we have more about the thesis. The people are amazing, young and energetic. And then she asked him, how are you? What are you going to do over Christmas? Muchos saludos desde someplace. I live here, but it's only 20 minutes from Barcelona. Okay, she said it's only 20 minutes from Barcelona, which can mean that she would be interested to meet, and she just wants to justify that the places are not too far away. Then he replies, hi, I trust you're feeling focused and working hard, managing time between thesis and work. You're in cute town, must be beautiful over there in Christmas season. I'm doing great myself. My visa request got approved, but the Spanish government is taking a lot of time to give me the card. I can travel outside of Spain during the Christmas because of that. What about you? Have you made plans for Christmas? Okay, this was a good one. He's trying to screen, will she be out of the country for Christmas, or is she staying in the country? Okay, and then he said, I'm so glad that you're feeling right at home here in Spain, despite the busy schedule. And keep me updated and let's meet soon. This one is a tricky one. So by saying keep me updated, you're doing something that you never want to do. You're putting the pressure of action on her. And you don't want to do that because now he's at her mercy and he's waiting for her to text him. You don't want to be in that situation where she has to do something, first of all, because she has to invest, and second of all, you don't know if that will happen. You will be wondering when she will text you. So make like a specific date, or say, I will text you. I will ask you for an update a couple of days later. I will ask you for an update after Christmas, or I would love to see you before Christmas, or something like that. Never put the pressure of action on her. The Spanish government, well, there could be, let's see when she replied. So she replied the same day, which is good. Well, there could be worse than spending a Christmas in Spain. I'm saying this also for the fact that I will be spending Christmas here. So she's spending Christmas in Spain. This thesis will have an end. But apart from that, I find myself really looking forward to it. Like you said, this place is a nice place during this time. Yes, we'll keep each other updated. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. It looks like she's still interested in meeting him, but they haven't made any actual plans. So girls will do that a lot. They will say, yeah, I really want to see you again. Let's hang out sometimes. Let's hang out in a couple of weeks. But they will never make definite plans. So try to make a definite plan, or at least try to set when you will set the plans. All right? So much better here would be keep me updated and let's talk next week on when we are free to meet up. And then she could say, yeah, okay, let's talk next week. And put the pressure of taking the action of setting up the meet on yourself. All right? And then next week you can just message her, hey, what's your time situation? Nothing special, just to set up the date. Then he sent her like a little voice message. He said that he just updated her that he doesn't have a lot of time, he has a lot of work to do. And then she agreed. Looks like she's in the similar situation. Yes, the next 2 weeks are tight, we can do it. So they can get through it and then meet. And it looks like he got her number. That's the spirit. And what he did a mistake here is he didn't check on the WhatsApp right away if he can find her. So he had to message her again a couple of days later. And then she said, oh, I made a mistake, and gave him the right number. All right, great, I'll text you later. All right, so what we've seen in these 30-something screenshots, we've seen a lot of texting, which is a bad thing. I know that it can be hard when you meet someone in a foreign country, or if they're tourists visiting your country and coming back sometime in the future. How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep in contact with them? So the best thing to do is get their Instagram and reply to their Instagram stories. It's a low investment from your side. You can just say haha on their stories, or you can just reply with quick reactions, quick emojis, something like that. And that will remind them of you, but it doesn't take a lot of time, and it also doesn't lower your value. Because through the texting, if you're not really skilled at it, and if you don't have like a really good connection with them, that usually doesn't happen if you weren't involved or something like that, if you just met for a couple of hours, then you can only hurt yourself through texting. So even if you meet someone and you don't know when they're coming back, I would either try to just send a couple of texts when you get their number or when you get their Instagram, and then just leave it at that. And maybe just say, when you're back in my country, let me know and we can meet up, and you can do the same. So when you go to their country, you can hit them up and try to set up the date. All right? We've also seen that he initiated the conversation most of the time and she was cutting it off. So you actually want it to be vice versa. So you want her to be starting the conversations, and you want yourself to be cutting those conversations off at the highest point of the emotions in the interaction. If you cannot do that, it's still good if you text her, but make the texting short, make it fun, make it emotionally spiked, and cut it off at the highest emotional point if possible. But definitely don't wait for her to get bored and then cutting it off. If you can see that the interaction is dying off, if you see that she's not investing more, if she's replying with short answers, she's not giving you a lot of information back, you can still save yourself by cutting the interaction. All right? Just saying, anyway, I have to go to the gym, or anyway, I have this thing to do, anyway, I have to finish my project, talk to you soon, and leave it at that. Yeah, I think that would be the general update, general conclusion of it. We went through a lot of these screenshots. We commented on most of the text, step by step, what went wrong. And I would like to make a remark here that it doesn't have to be a perfect interaction. You don't have to nail every single text, but you have to nail it at the points where it matters. Hoping this was useful for you, and I'll see you in the next text breakdown video. Send me your screenshots, send me your texts, send me your questions. You can also subscribe to this channel. We'll be posting more of these text breaks down here and a lot of other videos. And also make sure to join us at our Facebook group, Nate Lifestyle, and ask the questions there. Till next time.